Hi everyone. Today I am playing around with the spiral die stamp and it's really fun. It's a big stamp, as you can see, so it needs this big block, and I do want to say that sometimes this big block might be pretty big for some people's hands. So another great option is using the Stamparatus to stamp with, so you can put the big stamp directly onto the Stamparatus, and then you don't have to worry about this big block like this, which I did for some things, but I'm going to use the big block just for the video, just because it's smaller and it's not taking up as much on my desk space here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, but I do like the Stamparatus for my big blocks, and I wanted to show that it works nicely for these occasions when your hand is just, doesn't want to get this big block. Okay, so I want to do a few different cards. I kind of spent the afternoon playing around with it, and I did so many cards with it, and I used ink and watercolor and even bleach. And so in this video I'm going to stick with the inks just because I don't want to make a video that's super long. So I'm going to show you some ink ways to use it with the ink, and then I'll do a separate video with the bleach. That way it's not so long, and if you want to look at the bleach one, some people don't like to use it. It can be messy, but if you're careful, you can do some fun things. Okay, so here's the ink ones. A couple of different ways you can ink up this stamp. It's a huge stamp, and so you can use the image by itself. I'm going to show you what I mean. I've got a piece of basic white here, and I'm going to ink my stamp up in Mango Melody. Oops, I didn't get the end. That's okay, I can trim that off at the when I'm all done. Okay, and then let me clean it. And it's easy to clean this big one with the chamois. Although if your work area is next to your sink, running this big old stamp under your sink is an awesome way to clean it, which is what I'm going to do when I use the bleach. So I don't want to make sure I've got all the bleach off. Okay. Next I'm going to stamp it or ink it up again, this time in, let's see, Magenta Madness. And now I'm going to stamp again. Now, Stampin' Up showed a way to kind of make sure that your spirals are not going to land exact, and that is to just simply 180 your cardstock and then ink it up. Of course, I couldn't get them to match if I tried, but and then I've got my spirals, and that way I know that my patterns are not the same. Basically, you want to just make sure by turning it 180, you're not going to have exact patterns like these lines and things lining up exactly. Okay, so there is just using ink. And let me clean this again. Okay. So to finish this card, I wanted to put it down. I'm going to trim my ends a little bit. Just because I didn't get a clean stamped edge on there. So I'm going to take a little bit off both sides. So this was at 4 and now it'll be at 3 3/4. And then just for consistency's sake, I'm going to take some off of the small end as well. So now it's 5 by 3 3/4. And then when I think of tie-dye, I was kind of thinking flower power. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and we're going to add some flowers. So I grabbed a stamp set called In Bloom, and I stamped a birthday greeting from that, and I already did it because I wanted to. Again, I'm showing several cards. I want to make sure that the video is not too long. So I already stamped my greeting. It's right here from the happy birthday, and I cut it out with a die set called, where did I put it? Tasteful Labels. And so I cut it out with this one here. And I love the Tasteful Label dies because you've got this is going to fit most of your sentiments that you have, and it's so nice to be able to cut out sentiments with these dies. So here's like a small, you got circles, really nice. This is the one I used. Here's some extras in case I made a mistake. I keep them in there so I can quickly make another card. And then this In Bloom set has awesome dies as well. And here they are. Look at these flowers. This is Flower Power right there, and they're called Pierced Blooms. And there's leaves, there's flowers, there's a bow, there's even a label. It just wasn't quite long enough for the sentiment I chose. It fits all the other ones except that one. So I wanted to, I made a whole bunch of flowers, and I cut them out in the colors from the card. And I'm just going to go ahead and label, or stick them down. So I'm going to put my sentiment up on some dimensionals. And then, let's see, I'll put maybe one of these up on a dimensional. And then I'm going to work around by adding more with just some adhesive. So I've got a little flower in the Magenta Madness, or no, I'm sorry, Mango Melody. This is Magenta Madness. So many similar names. And now I'm just going to layer some of these fun little pieces together. The dies have these cute little flower centers, which you can add to make different colors. And I cut out some leaves in just the basic white. Isn't that fun? And you can put as many flowers as you want on there. So there's my Flower Power birthday card. And then on the inside, I just throw a piece of basic white. And if you wanted, you could throw a few more flowers on the inside too. I cut a whole bunch of flowers out because I wasn't sure what I was going to use. So I have oodles of flowers. There. Okay, so there's one way. Now the spiral die background is good for anything. It's not, doesn't have to be flowers, and you can just go simple. So my next ones, I want to show you other ways to use ink on here. And so I wanted to keep the next few cards simple. So let me show you a couple others. So I'm going to grab another piece of basic white. Okay, this time we're going to add ink a different way. So another way to add ink to your image here is, I want to grab Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to ink up just a section here with the Daffodil Delight. Now, if you go light to dark, you can throw another color on here and just careful not to mix your inks too much. But if you don't want to think about it, you don't want to worry about it, you can add ink with a sponge. You can ink up a sponge and dab it on here. Or you can use markers, which is a simple way to do it. You're just going to grab, now this doesn't work with Stampin' Blends, those are a permanent marker. So if you put that on here, it's going to permanently ink up your stamp, but it's not going to transfer onto your cardstock. So you're going to grab the marker and you can just kind of go like this and add some color with the marker with the brush end. So that's one way. So you can use a pad, you can use a sponge, And I'm just adding another color. This is Granny Apple Green. And then another way is we have stamping spots, and these are really fun. They're little tiny spots. Now they come in the paper pumpkins. If you're a paper pumpkin subscriber, each month you get a new spot in a different color, and Stampin' Up! Doesn't repeat a color within the 12-month period. So by the end of 12 months, you're going to get 12 different color spots. Now maybe it's not the spot you're looking for. Maybe you want some bold colors, and a lot of the spots were not those. So what you can do is you can buy these little spots that are empty. They're just the little pad in a little tiny spot, really cute, and they come in a 5-pack, and then you can add whatever color ink you want. So those are really fun too. They look they're the exact same ones, and they're fun to have. I get the paper pumpkin, so I always end up with a ton of these colors, little ink spots, and they're really nice. I like them because they're really fun to use on a big stamp, and you can just kind of ink up an area. They're nice if you want to take some stamps to go and you're going to go stamp with a friend, or on vacation you want to grab a few of your spots. So I'm adding some, this is Pacific Point. Okay, and then you kind of need to just kind of there's a couple different ways. You can kind of breathe some hot air on there to get some steam on there, because some of yours might have, now my Daffodil Delight was very juicy ink pad, so I can tell that it's fine, but maybe my marker one is not. So you can also take a spritzer, and this is just a little bit of a mist. It makes a nice mist. It's not gonna make a huge bunch of water come out. It's a nice mist, and it kind of activates the ink that might have started to dry a little bit. And then you've got some fun little tie-dye this way. So let me show you another way to do this. I'm going to clean this one more time. All right, we're going to ink it up again. Same way, I'm going to grab the Daffodil Delight. Sections. I'm going to grab my marker in Granny Apple Green. Now I saved the best one for last. This is my favorite way to get ink on the spiral die stamp. Funny because it's called a spiral die because it's die, D-Y-E, and when I think of dies I always think, you know, our cutting dies. So anyway, spiral die stamp set, and then I'm going to throw on some Pacific Point. I have to admit I chose these colors because I had a spot in Pacific Point, but they look really fun together, don't they? And you can even go over Daffodil Delight a little bit. Okay, so now I've got it inked up. I'm going to grab this little mister again. This time I'm going to go a little heavier with the mist. I'm going to give it a few more pumps on the mister. Not too much. You don't want it to go, your ink to go away. And then I'm also going to give a couple little mists on my paper. And again, not too much. I don't want it to be runny. I went a little heavy right here, so I'm going to smear it out a little bit. Okay. I went a little heavy on my paper, but I think it'll be just fine. All right, now we're going to stamp. And look how fun that is. Let me clean this off. This is super fun now. It's kind of bleeding together, but it really looks more like a tie-dye. You've got a little, you can still see the spiral. I went heavy on the water on this one. So if you can see on my sample, I was a little less heavy, so then you get even more of the spiral look. And this one definitely looks tie-dye. And you do see that the lines and the spiral, but a little less so. I'm going to hit this now with my heat tool. You'll see that it'll kind of it'll unbridge itself there. paper's a little bowed. So I'm going to hit it with this heat tool. I'll go fast forward so you don't have to hear this noise. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but I turned it over and heated up the back again, and it kind of helps it flatten out. Now when you put that much water onto the watercolor paper, it does have a bow to it, and so then when I stick it down to my cardstock, I tend to add a little more adhesive so that it stays flatter. So let me, I thought, I didn't plan this part, I just want to try, because I did too much water on here, and I want you to see that it really is cute. So I'm going to try one more, unplanned. That always is dangerous, a little bit. Okay, let's go with some of our new in colors. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to go lightest color first. And that was Pale Papaya. This one, these are my nice new colors. I don't want to ruin them, so I'm going to use a sponge to add the Fresh Freesia. I got some new daubers yesterday. I'm very happy. I ordered a whole bunch of daubers. Okay. Now let's go with Polished Pink. Tiny bit concerned that I didn't clean the Pacific Point well. I see a little bit in the cracks. So when I add water, it might come out. Let's see. Okay, so again I have a piece of watercolor paper, and I am going to give my stamp a mist, a couple mists, and my paper a couple mists. And see what we get. Okay, so it's much paler. I was trying to be more careful with my color, but it still looks fun. So let's heat tool that. You know, actually, you can, if you want, give it another little hit with the okay, I still went heavy on my my water. I should have left it where it was. I get carried away sometimes. I like water, but this is kind of a fun effect, and you can put your sentiment here because I really like the way this all looks. So let's go ahead and turn our little things into cards. I'm gonna put this one down on a base of Daffodil Delight. And as I mentioned, I'm going to use more adhesive than I normally would, just because I want to make sure that it stays down and it kind of helps with that bowing. Okay, normally I don't put anywhere near that much adhesive on the back. And then I just made a little greeting, and this is from the Sunny Sentiments stamp set. Spiral die obviously can go with anything, so I just kind of grabbed this Happy Hello. I think that's really fun, and I'm super happy that they put Stampin' Up! Added black baker's twine back into our mix, and so I'm going to use some of that. Now I still had some black baker's twine on this large roll. The new ones come, I wanted to show you because I just grabbed it. You get a selection of neutral colors, and I really like that. And you've got something for everything. There's a vanilla and the white, of course, and I think, does it tell me what that is? Maybe it does in the catalog, but I feel like one of them is more gray and one is more crumb cake, so you can kind of use that on just about anything, which is good. So I'm going to make kind of a large-ish bow. And put that down with a glue dot. This one is just a simple card. The tie-dye is kind of the star here. And then I will add some dimensionals to the back. And it's done. And you can do the same with the Just Ink non-watercolored one. And let's find some way to finish off this one. I can put that down on some polished pink. I don't have a greeting already made for this one because I just decided to do this now. So let's see. What can we do here? Let's throw this one on a scrap of polished pink. Okay, I think I'll emboss in white. Alright, not sure what punches are going to fit. Let's see. Oh yeah, that one fits nicely. Okay, so this is a really nice punch. I just made a whole bunch of graduation tags with that. And it is called, I don't know, so I gotta look it up. Not funny. Some things I know right away, that one I don't. Label Me Lovely. I'm going to put it down here to cover up my mess. Okay, and then I'm going to put down some of this papaya ribbon. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, and it looks really pretty. It's a nice woven ribbon that has a little bit of white trim and then that pale papaya. So I'm going to just kind of snake that back and forth, I think. Let's see what I can do there. Okay, when I put down ribbon, I like to throw down some adhesive and usually tear tape. And then, that way you've kind of got a little bit of play with it. You can lay it down, but then if you don't like it, you can kind of peel it back up and lay it down again. I'm going to do just that. I think that's good. Yep. All right, let's adjust that a little bit. So having that tear tape down kind of gives me a little bit of wiggle room. And then I'm going to add my sentiment right on top with some dimensionals. I think I'm liking my improv card right now. Okay, so it says, hoping your birthday is filled with all the best things. I like it. And then I think in going with that whole flower power hippie look, I'm going to add another thing I haven't played with yet. These are new loose flower flourishes, and they come in the in color, so they should be perfect for this. Oh, how cute are these? These little flowers. Yeah, let's stick some of those down. I'm going to use glue dots. So let's see, I'll put one down here, maybe in the purple. Okay, those are adorable. And just going to sprinkle some around. Looks like there's 2 sizes. Let's find a baby pink one. Look how tiny they are. They're so cute though. That one might need something that's not a glue dot. Well, maybe. You can kind of tear these glue dots or ball them up. I think we'll ball it up. Let's see if it's too big and globby. Where'd that little flower go? That might be better with some actual glue. Oh no, that works. Okay, those are adorable little tiny things, aren't they? Maybe one more little baby one because they're just too cute. Yep. Oops, I have it upside down. You want to have, there's like a flat side and then a side that's got the cute little flower center. Alright, those are cute. No, I think I want one more. They really are cute. Alright, let's put one more. I still have another glue dot on my thumb. Alright, I'm going to stop myself. These are adorable. Loose flower flourishes. 60 of them in there. Really cute. Okay, so that's my in colors. The only thing missing on here are the greens. Here is that watercolor with the brights, and here we got the watercolor with the kind of softer colors. Either way it works great, and real simple, just a punch and a greeting on top of that one stamp set is adorable. And then if you want, you can layer colors like I did here, and you can not mess with the water. Just go with 2 different colors of ink, maybe a third, I'm not sure if it starts to get too muddy. But then these flowers really add some fun with that pierced blooms dies. Super cute. Or if you don't want to go with dies, just want something quick, punches, little sentiment. This one is the postage punch. Super cute. Alright, so this is how to use the spiral die with ink, and then I will show you how to use a spiral die with bleach next. Thanks for watching.